Things you should never search.
Hi there. You've probably heard of some terms you should never search on your search engine. And here, I have a list of terms you should never search. Let's take a look at them. Animal slaughterhouses? What's wrong with that? What is this? Goodness, just look at this. More often than not, we forgot the sufferings of the animals. I mean, can you imagine this cute little chicken, this cute little cow, or this cute little duck end up becoming your meal? And how much suffering have they been through as a result? Chickens are kept to live in close quarters, sometimes inside big warehouses crammed together so tightly that they can barely spread their wings. Therefore, a lot of farmers cut off the beaks from the chickens by clipping or burning them off because cutting their beaks prevents the chickens from pecking each other to death. A number of chickens die from this process. Newborn calves are taken away from their mothers almost immediately after birth. The mother cows are observed wailing for days and longing for the bond with their newborn. They often go into depression and lose weight as well. What about the newborn calves? They are kept in crates smaller than 77 cm wide and 183 cm long. The crates are so small that the calves have no room to move around too much. This is to prevent them from exercising to keep them from building muscles so that their flesh stays tender as desired by the consumers, which is us. Oftentimes, they are held down with chains to confine their movement. They are also fed diets low in iron to prevent their flesh from darkening, resulting in anemic calves. Pregnant sows are kept in disgustingly small cages and are unable to even turn around. This is meant to keep the pregnant sows immobilized to prevent them from building muscles. Shortly after giving birth, the new mothers are then moved to a cage with only a bit more room to feed the small piglets so that they can nurse. A sow spends its entire life in a tiny cage just big enough for it to feed. Due to the excess confinement, the hogs can experience breathing disorders because of high concentrations of ammonia from their manure waste. Hogs also experience feet and leg deformities from standing on floors made of improper materials. Almost all of the cattle raised on factory farms for the purpose of consumption are fed a diet that consists of genetically modified corns. Feeding cattle with genetically modified corns is faster and more profitable. However, cows have evolved over millions of years to eat grass. The process of digesting the corn is so unnatural to the cattle's digestive system that it can kill the cattle. In 1939, a cow can live up to 4 or 5 years at the time of slaughter. In 2014, they live less than 2 years. Chickens are often drugged and genetically manipulated to grow rapidly. This is dangerous because they cannot support their own weight, leaving their legs malformed or broken. Many die out of heart or lung failure because these organs cannot keep up with their unnatural growth rate. On fatty liver duck farms, metal pipes are shoved down the throats of ducks 2 to 3 times per day, in which over a pound of cornmeal is pumped into their stomach. The ducks' livers are actually diseased and have grown 5 to 10 times larger than their normal size. Most ducks die before they are slaughtered. Many female ducks end up in the garbage because females produce smaller livers. They usually suffocate to death there. Evil, isn't it? Can you imagine all this happening to you? how will you feel? If this alone does not convince you to eat less meat, shall we look at how meat production damages the environment as well? The farm animals are heavy polluters. In 2012, the amount of manure waste excreted by the cattle daily is more than 11 times the amount of waste the entire human population excretes daily. Manure excretion from hogs daily in 2014 is 71% more than the daily waste excretion by the entire human population. In 2013, within the same time frame, chickens worldwide excrete the amount of waste 500 million people excrete, and 500 million people is the population of USA and Nigeria combined. Apart from being a heavy polluter, the farm animals are also a major source of greenhouse gas emission. They emit greenhouse gas when they excrete or burp. The meat industry contributes 29.2% of the US methane emission in 2014. In 2013, the livestock sector accounts for 13% of global greenhouse gas emission, which means in 2013, the amount of greenhouse gas the meat industry emits every 19 seconds is equivalent to the amount of greenhouse gas emitted by a full capacity A380 plane traveling one round around the Earth's equator. For the same mass produced, the amount of greenhouse gas emitted to produce meat is 60 times the amount of greenhouse gas emitted to produce vegetables. Pollution and greenhouse gas emission is only one part of the story. Do not forget the massive amount of resources needed to raise the livestock. Animal agriculture is responsible for 48% of deforestation. In 2015, rearing livestock accounts for 30% of Earth's land surface. Animal agriculture uses up 26.7 million square kilometers of land in 2014. From 2012 to 2015, forests around 4 times the land area of nature reserves in Singapore were cut down daily to raise farm animals. That means over 7.5 million trees are cut down daily to make space for the meat industry. The livestock sector, by deforestation alone, contributes around 6% to 7% of global greenhouse gas emission. For the same mass produced, the amount of land needed to grow meat is more than 8 times the amount of land needed to grow vegetables. In 2015, animal agriculture consumes 1,622 cubic kilometers to 1,867 cubic kilometers of fresh water. That's around 38% to 42% of global freshwater consumption. Putting that into perspective, the amount of fresh water the meat industry used per second in 2015 is more than the amount of fresh water flowing from a tap left running non-stop for 12 years. For the same mass produced, the amount of water needed to grow meat is 9 to 11 times the amount of water needed to grow vegetables. 36% of crops are fed to livestock. So, what are your thoughts now? I know some of you will question the significance of the difference you will make. It is true that a single individual effort will have limited impacts in stopping these cruel and environmentally unsustainable practices. But won't you have a peace of mind the next time you eat green, knowing that you are minimizing your contribution to animal cruelty and environmental degradation? Do consider eating less meat.